Hello, welcome to week 13. I hope you all are doing great and you're continuing to show up with joy. This morning I had this great moment. It was just a moment of realization of where life is and how I've gotten here, and just thinking back 10 years ago, if I would have ever dreamed possible of what would happen. And I literally got down on my hands and knees and cried and prayed and praised God for everything that he's done for me. And at that same moment, I remembered a time of just on my hands and knees praying to God to show me how to get out of the moment. And so through that, I wrote some notes this morning just of things I wanted to say or things I just wanted to keep in my heart. And I knew also today I needed to record a video for the Show Up With Joy book. And I was like, gosh, I hope they come together. I'm going to have to figure out how they come together. But honestly, thinking of that moment was probably a huge moment, and things that helped me continue to show up with joy, or know that I needed to get to a place. And so it actually did, because the chapter starts out with, some people are like, how is she really that positive? Is she always that happy? How does she always find the positive turn? And honestly, if I could show you just a glimpse of my 50 years, you'd be like, well, no wonder you're happy. That was some crazy crap you had to get through here. And so, yes, I am positive. And it's not that I have just the best life, but I will find the most positive thing. I will find that our family is healthy and happy, and grandbabies are arriving, and things are just good. There's nothing really, as I just said to my husband, there's nothing really to complain about. So, but the moment I was thinking about when I was on my hands and knees this morning was, I think it was 10 years ago. It's probably way more than 10 years ago. Had to be way more than 10 years ago. But I did a newspaper route for about 6 months of my life. My kids were in high school, and not quite, I think maybe 8th grade, 10th grade. So not grown up. But I was paid $1,200 basically a month to do this newspaper out every single night, because the newspaper is delivered every single morning. And I needed that $1,200. Either that or I was going to lose my house and my car. I was also working full time. So there was just a lot going on, but I figured it out, and I left my house at 2 a.m. I came back at 4 a.m. Kids were sleeping. Everything was fine most of the time. They've told me stories. But I had started it during the summer, and we got to December. I live in Topeka, Kansas, so we do get some bad winters, and this was a bad winter. And it had snowed all night, but I still had to deliver the newspaper. Side note, if you don't deliver the newspaper by 5 a.m., at least around here, they can call in and complain, and I would get $1 deducted off of my paycheck for every person that called and complained. So you definitely had to deliver the newspapers at the right time. And so I had gone to pick up my newspapers, bagged them. I had gotten really good. I could bag and drive and do all the things and throw, but it had snowed quite a bit. And I was about halfway through my route, and I was doing it. I was making it. It was going to be okay. And I got to the part of the route where there was this hill, and the hill was pretty intense. And again, snow and ice. And I got to almost the top of the hill. I almost was there, and my car stopped. And it started to slide, and I couldn't do anything. And it just slid all the way down the hill. And luckily, as I slid all the way down the hill, it just turned around to go the other way. I did not hit anything. I did not go in the ditch. I was good. And so I drove on home. I did not finish my newspapers. I called my boss, the newspaper supervisor, and said, this is what's happening. He said, it's okay. You won't be charged today for late newspapers, but just when you can, you need to go out and deliver them. And so the roads cleared up, and I eventually delivered them. But I called my parents, and I was like, I don't know what I'm going to do. I literally sat in the middle of my living room bawling, and my kids were like, are you okay? And I wasn't okay. And so my dad actually rode with me for the next 2 weeks. I gave my 2 weeks notice that day and decided I needed to figure some things out. But as you read this chapter, and it says, does she always show up with joy? That day I was not showing up with joy, but I knew how to get to the next step. Someone told me once, just do the next thing. And that's what I've always done. I just figured out the next thing that I needed to do. And I will always find the positive in it. You will never find me complaining about work. You will never find me complaining about going from an 8 to 5 job, or that I have to work 5 minutes later. If I get to work inside in a cubicle and I get paid, and no one is going to have to go deliver these newspapers, like I will be okay for the rest of my life. That newspaper out taught me that everything's going to be okay as long as I'm not throwing newspapers. And honestly, it was probably one of the best things that could have happened to me, but it was just not the greatest experience. And I mean, newspapers come on Thanksgiving morning. Newspapers come on Christmas morning. So when you think about what people do to get things done, there was a lady that did a newspaper route to get her kids through college. Like just the things that you have to do. But you guys, it really just takes baby steps. And it just takes you saying, I'm going to do it today. Like, I'm not going to do it on Monday. I'm just going to do it today. Today is a day that you can win today. Find the wins in today because they're there. And I hope you guys are showing up with joy. I hope you're taking notes on each week. I honestly started writing in my own book because I was like, there's some things I still need to learn, and reminders to myself of things that I want to do to continue to show up with joy. You don't just like get to a place and everything's going to be okay. You have to continue to do the work. So I hope you're continued doing the work and you're continue to show up with joy because I really can't wait to see what you do with this.